The wait is over. As reported by Vertex Search, after months of silence and secretive wind tunnel tests, the first true Adrian Newey era Aston Martin has just broken cover in Saudi Arabia, and the AMR 26 is nothing like the rumors predicted.
We are live from the King Abdulaziz Center for World Culture, known as ITHRA, in Dhahran, where, as covered by motorsport.com, Aston Martin Aramco has just pulled the covers off their 2026 Challenger. This isn't just another livery reveal. Today marks the official start of the team's Works era with Honda. For the last few years, this team has been buying engines from Mercedes, essentially acting as a customer, but that ends today. With the massive regulation overhaul for 2026 outlined by the FIA, Aston Martin has taken its destiny into its own hands, partnering exclusively with Honda Racing Corporation to build a car around a bespoke power unit. The stakes couldn't be higher. As Autosport details, Lawrence Stroll has poured hundreds of millions into the Silverstone factory, poached technical genius Adrian Newey from Red Bull, and kept Fernando Alonso in the cockpit well into his 40s. The paddock has been buzzing with speculation that Aston Martin started their 2026 development later than rivals like Ferrari or Audi due to gardening leave constraints. But looking at what they've just revealed, they haven't exactly been sitting on their hands. This is the moment we find out if the green team is finally ready to fight for championships, or if the pressure of the new regulations has cracked their foundation. Let's examine the launch itself. This photograph shows the scale of the ambition here at ITHRA. You can see the AMR 26 sitting center stage, flanked by the heavy hitters of the operation. There's Lawrence Stroll, looking as serious as ever, standing alongside representatives from Honda and Aramco. But look at the drivers. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll are suited up in the new kit, and their body language is telling. Alonso, noted by Formula One as a two-time champion, has been waiting for a car capable of a third title for nearly 2 decades, a timeline verified by Wikipedia records. And with Honda back in the mix, a partnership confirmed by Aston Martin and F1 as a new Works era, the dynamic here is fascinating. The silhouette of the car in this profile shot already hints at a radical departure from the previous generation. The floor edge looks aggressive, and the roll hoop structure has been completely redesigned to accommodate the new safety regulations. This isn't a show car. This is a statement of intent from a team that is done with being best of the rest. To understand why this car matters, you have to look at the engine branding. That HRC logo represents a seismic shift. For the first time, Aston Martin isn't just bolting in a Mercedes engine and gearbox they bought off the shelf. They are now a fully integrated Works team. Honda has built the RA626H power unit specifically for this chassis. The 2026 regulations have removed the complex MGU-H and ramped up the electrical power to nearly 350 kilowatts, which is almost a 50-50 split between the combustion engine and the battery. While Red Bull builds their own engines with Ford, Aston Martin has effectively inherited the technical might that powered Max Verstappen to his dominance. It's a massive gamble. If the Honda engine is a rocket, Aston wins. If it's unreliable, there's nowhere to hide. But having a power unit designed purely for your car's packaging allows for aerodynamic freedoms that customer teams simply can't access. If you are finding this deep exploration into the 2026 grid interesting, hit subscribe and the notification bell. We are covering every single launch this month. Now, let's look at the front of the car. This image gives us our first clear look at the front three-quarter view, and the Adrian Newey influence is unmistakable. The nose cone is a wide, pelican-style design, distinct from what we saw in 2025, maximizing the airflow under the chassis floor. You can see the iconic British racing green is back, accented with that neon yellow, but focus on the front wing. Under the 2026 rules, we now have active aerodynamics. This front wing isn't static. The flaps are designed to adjust aggressively between X mode for the straights and Z mode for the corners. The way the end plates guide the air around those narrower front tires suggests the team is trying to recreate the outwash effect that the FIA has been trying to ban. The side pod intakes, visible just behind the front suspension, are shockingly small. This implies that Honda has managed to reduce the cooling requirements significantly, allowing the aerodynamicists to shrink wrap the bodywork even tighter than before. Switching to this top-down view really exposes the philosophy behind the AMR 26. Look at the Coke bottle area at the rear, which is incredibly tight. The bodywork tapers in sharply, exposing a massive amount of floor area to generate downforce. This bird's-eye perspective also highlights the symmetry of the livery, but more importantly, it shows the new cockpit position. The 2026 cars are shorter and narrower, and the driver sits slightly differently relative to the front wheels compared to last year. You can clearly see the Honda logo proudly displayed on the nose, a symbol of the Japanese manufacturer's renewed commitment to Formula One. The suspension layout visible here is a pushrod configuration, likely designed to manipulate the airflow into those radiator inlets. It's a clean, almost clinical design that screams efficiency. There is zero fat on this car. Everything has been shaved down to meet the new minimum weight limit, which was a huge headache for teams during the winter development phase. Let's talk about the X mode and Z mode everyone is whispering about. The 2026 regulations have killed off DRS as we knew it. Instead, we have a system where both the front and rear wings move in unison. When Alonso or Stroll hits the button on a straight, the car enters low drag X mode, essentially shedding air resistance to hit top speeds. As they hit the braking zone, the system snaps back to Z mode for maximum cornering grip. The AMR 26 seems to have integrated the actuators for this system very subtly into the wing pillars. The risk here is mechanical failure. If a wing gets stuck in low drag mode entering a high-speed corner, the race is over. But looking at the complexity of the rear wing end plates, Aston Martin is pushing the boundaries of what the regulations allow to make this transition as smooth as possible. We can't ignore the human element in this machine. Fernando Alonso is defying time. He signed that extension back in 2024 specifically for this moment, the Honda era. He has spoken openly about trusting the Japanese engineers despite the GP2 engine trauma of the past. He believes this is his last, best shot at a championship. On the other side of the garage, Lance Stroll faces the most critical season of his career. With a car designed by Newey and powered by Honda, there are no more excuses. The data coming out of the simulator in Silverstone suggests the car is tricky to drive, fast but sharp. That suits Alonso's reactive style perfectly, but it might be a handful for Stroll. The dynamic between them will be key as they develop this brand new platform throughout the season. Finally, this rear three-quarter view reveals the business end of the AMR 26. The rear wing is massive, but you'll notice the beam wing is gone. Banned under the 2026 rules to reduce the wake for following cars. You can spot the sponsor branding for Coinbase and Valvoline here. But the real story is the diffuser. It's steep, aggressive, and clearly designed to exploit the new flat floor and diffuser regulations to their absolute limit. The exhaust outlet is positioned centrally, blowing just under the rear wing structure, a trick to gain a tiny bit of extra downforce from the engine gases. Those rear tires are massive, and managing their temperature with the increased torque from the electric motor will be the key to winning races. As we leave the car, the feeling is one of cautious optimism. It looks fast standing still, but in this new era of regulations, looks can be deceiving. So, where does this leave us? The AMR 26 represents the most ambitious project in Aston Martin's history. They have assembled a super team of personnel and partners, but the 2026 regulations are a great equalizer. If Adrian Newey and his team have found a loophole in the active aero rules, we could see a repeat of the 2009 Brawn GP fairy tale or the 2014 Mercedes dominance. However, reports that the team started their wind tunnel program later than Ferrari and Audi due to factory delays are worrying. In Formula One, time is the one resource you can't buy, no matter how rich your owner is. The success of this car will likely dictate the future of the franchise. A championship fight cements their value as a top-tier team, while a midfield finish could see heads roll and questions asked about the viability of the entire project. We are witnessing a high-stakes poker game played at 200 miles per hour, and Aston Martin has just gone all in.
The green team has played its hand, and now we wait for Bahrain to see if the ace is real or a bluff. If you want to follow the 2026 season unfold with us, make sure to subscribe right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next launch.